But what you have to understand about God mode has nothing to do with the steps. God mode manifestations have nothing to do with manifesting techniques. Now, in this video, let me show you what God mode really means and how to step into that power. How do we manifest in God mode? In the first section here, what we have to understand is when you manifest in God mode, this is far beyond manifesting techniques. This is far beyond, Chad, tell me a great affirmation to say. Chad, tell me a great robotic affirmation. Chad, what about the Never Gouder technique? Chad, what about Thomas Troward? Chad, what about Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich? Chad, what about the 5-5-5 technique, the 7-7-7 technique, the 3-3-3 technique? What about keeping a journal? Okay, because when we start talking about God mode, what's happening is in God mode, we are going to the root. Okay, this is the only way you can manifest in God mode. You have to understand this. You have to go to the root. You have to go to the root cause of why manifesting isn't working for you. Or maybe it's working for some things and it's not working for other things. What's really going on? We have to go to the root cause to fix it. Okay, same way in health. If you have a disease, doesn't it make sense? If you go to the root cause of why you have this health issue, you can actually fix it and it goes away. Doesn't it make sense? But what we're constantly doing in health, in success, in manifesting, and living life on your terms, living life unapologetically on your terms, what's happening is we're constantly treating the symptom and not the root. Okay? So here in this video in God mode, we're going after the root. We're going after the root cause. Okay, now I said that I kind of picked on manifesting techniques. I kind of picked on affirmations and stuff like that. But what you have to understand is all these manifesting techniques that have their place. Okay, you have to get me on that. That have their place. Okay, but really what these techniques do is they help you get to the root, what we're going to discuss here in a second. Okay, that's what I mean. It's not the end all be all with these techniques, but they have their place. When you do affirmations, robotic affirmations, it has its place. Okay, when you do scripting, it has its place. Okay, even if you get involved with a new technique out there that somebody makes up, the 5-5-5 technique, 3-3-3, 7-7-7, whatever, it has its place. But what you have to understand is it's not going to the root cause. Okay, you want to go to the root cause because you want to manifest in God mode. What does that mean? Is when you say something, it's going to happen. When you want something, it's going to occur. When you want your dream house, you know it's going to come to you. You want your dream car, you know it's going to happen to you. Okay? If you say you're a multimillionaire, you know it's coming. Okay? You say things one time and it has to happen, it has to occur. Whatever it is, whatever life you want, you live life on your terms. You live life unapologetically on your terms. You live life authentic on your terms. And things have to bend. Reality has to bend to what you say. This is God mode manifestations. Okay? But how do we do it? And this isn't part 2, we're still on part 1, baby. How to manifest in God mode, the root of God mode is your identity. We have to talk about identity here. Identity is everything. Identity is, it's your whole life wrapped around. Identity is your self-image, your self-concept of yourself. Your identity is what you murmur, complain about all day long. Your identity is the secret you, your secret thoughts, what you secretly tell yourself all day long. Now, what I mean by the secret you is you don't even tell your significant other all the shit that's inside your head. We all do it. I'm guilty of it too. Okay, you understand? This is how we get into God mode manifestations. because we understand it's about identity. We understand that in order, listen to this and listen to it very closely, in order for you to have your dream house, in order for you to live life on your terms, in order for you to have these bigger manifestations, I'm not talking about you manifesting a cup of coffee, you're doing the Regalos ladder technique and it worked. All this does is just prove manifestation is real. It just proves imagination creates reality. Okay, that's all it does. Okay, then you get involved with more little ones, where maybe you manifest 5 grand, 10 grand, and it worked. But it's not working when you want these bigger manifestations. It's not working. It kind of stops. It kind of halts a little bit when you start wanting your dream house. You start running $1 million house. We start wanting your dream car. Maybe it's a 911 twin turbo Porsche convertible that's $250,000. Okay. Maybe you want to be a multi-millionaire. Maybe you want to have $15 million in the bank, or liquid. Maybe it's not sitting in the bank, but it's liquid. Maybe you want to give to charities. Maybe you want to be the king of your family. Maybe you want to be the financial king of your family. You're the one that people come to when they face opposition in their life, when they have trouble in their life, when they just need a little bit of assistance and help. You're the one. You're the savior. Okay. You're the first name on the list. Okay. When they're just thinking, they think about Chad. They don't have to flip and think for 5 minutes. They think half a second and they think, I need to call Chad. Okay. This is where God mode manifestations come in, because at this point, it's all about identity, baby. You listen to this. You have to become the person that has your dream house. Okay. You don't wait. Most of you think backwards on this. You don't wait. You think, well, Chad, I'll believe it when I see it. When I hear people say that, one, you're going off your 5 senses, which is very, very low consciousness. You're going off what you can see. Okay, I can see that tree over there. As long as I can see that tree, well, that tree has to be real. Okay, that's your 5 senses. Okay, your 5 senses in your 3D world is a very, very low consciousness, because it's see, hear, smell, taste, touch. If I don't see it, I don't believe it. Okay, but that's not operating from your 4D world. That's not even operating from how never God are taught. For imagination creates reality. Okay, if you can see it in your imagination, in your 4D world, meaning like nothing is here in my 3D world yet, because I see it in my imagination, it has to come to you. Bottom line. That's why we have to work on identity. That's why you have to become, listen to this. If you want to be a multimillionaire, it's about you being that multimillionaire right now, today. You're that person before it actually manifests into your 3D world. That's the secret. That's the secret to God mode. That's why we have to go to the root here. The root is your identity. The root is your self-concept. Your root is your self-image. The root is how confident are you behind your beliefs? What are your beliefs? What is the secret you? What's that junk you're holding in? You have to release that junk to move over to God mode. And this is the work that most people don't want to do. This is why listen to this, this is why very few people really live life on their terms. Very few people really manifest what they really want. They don't compromise. They don't compromise life. They don't compromise what they want. Very few people. Why is it very few people? It's because you have to go through the work. Okay, it takes a little bit of work to go through this self-gunk in my life. To kind of shed the old so the new has room to come in. You shed, what I mean by that, you're shedding that old identity, that old self, those old limited beliefs, those old limited habits, these old bad habits you have. Maybe it's indecisiveness. You can't make a decision. You're shedding all that so the new can come over. You have to be that person now. This is why the bigger things in God mode, the bigger things are not coming to you because it's all about identity at this point. This is why the little manifesting techniques you're doing is not working anymore, because the reason why it's not working is because everything's coming to you on your self-concept. This is what you have to understand. Everything's coming to you, the secret you, what you secretly believe. That's what you see in your 3D world. That's the bottom line. That's the truth. That's the truth that people don't want to hear. Okay? But you're different. I'm not trying to sell you, but you're different because you're hearing the truth. You know you got to go to the root. You know you got to go to the root to live life on your terms, to fully live life on your terms. Let me give you another example here before we move on to part 2. You see, if you want to be a millionaire, you hear me say that you have to be that person now. And you might argue with me, well, Chad, I can't make decisions like a millionaire. I can't just go out and buy my dream car. I can't just go out and buy $1 million house. I can't just go out and buy a $10,000 watch. I can't go out and just go shopping for clothes and spend $5,000 like that. But you see what you're doing when you ask those questions, or certain questions like that, is, for one, all you're doing is meaninglessly debating. You're trying to pull out something to basically to disprove what I'm saying is truth. That's your old identity. Those thoughts are coming from your old identity. Those thoughts are not coming from that successful version of you. Those thoughts are not coming from that successful multi-million-dollar identity that you really are. It's buried in you. You have to understand, everything is within you, but it's buried. It's there. Heaven is within you. God is within you. If you believe you're a spiritual being, God is inside you. Heaven is within you. The Holy Spirit is inside you. Abundance is your birthright. It's buried in you, but you have forgotten the power that you possess. Bottom line, when people ask these questions, I already know they're talking from their old self. They're talking from their current identity. They're not talking from their successful version of themselves. Because this is what a successful version of yourself would say, or how they would answer these questions that I gave you for example. You know what that successful version of yourself would actually say? They might sit there and say, you're right. You can't go out and buy your dream house right now. You can't go out and buy your dream car right now. You can't go out and buy your $10,000 watch right now. But, there's a big but with that. But, you can carry yourself like a multimillionaire. You can start making decisions like a millionaire. You can start, maybe you have one outfit that you wear that makes yourself feel better, brings up your confidence, your self-image. Does that make sense? Maybe you're very, very indecisive and you start being decisive. You start saying, okay, when someone asks me something, it's a yes or a no. There's no maybe, there's no I don't know, there's no, okay, whatever you want to do. It's yes and no, I want to do it. Okay. It's yes and no that I want to buy it. Okay, when you go grocery shopping, stop looking at all the price tags, because you know that you can buy anything you want in here. You can start programming yourself like a millionaire right now today. Bottom line. That's what your successful version of you is going to tell you. And then it's not going to stop there, because that successful version of you is going to be operating from a higher consciousness. And then it's going to flip it and say, well, since you believe that way, you never can have it, because as you believe, you receive. You see, nobody is wrong. Nobody in life is actually wrong, because everybody in life gets what they believe. What I believe to be true for me has to come to me. What you believe to be true for you has to come to you. That's what I mean by that. So that successful version of you is going to sit there and say, if you can see it, you have to realize the truth inside you. The truth inside you, if you can see it in your 4D world, you can see it in your imagination, it has to come to you. It has to take root. But you yourself, your current identity right now, don't believe that. Your current identity right now has to let go of the how, has to let go of their five senses, has to let go of that five consciousness. They have to let go. You see, that's what your higher self is going to talk to you. Something like that. But it's all from you're operating from your higher, your more successful identity. There's always a more successful version of you inside you. It's not outside of you. You have to understand this when you manifest in God mode. There's nothing outside of you. Nothing. It's all within. Everything's coming from within. Your 3D world, if you love it or hate it, if you like it or not, it's coming from within you. This is God mode manifestations. Everything comes from within. That's why anything you hear manifesting comes from within. Spiritual comes from within. Your beliefs comes from within. It comes from within out. It's just the self-reflection. It's the mirror principle. Your life is a mirror. Okay, how it's mirroring you is your 3D world is lagging behind a little bit, but it's just mirroring your past thoughts, your past desires, your past beliefs. It's just a reflection. But the great news is, with God mode manifestations, the great news is you can change it like that. The great news is, you know it's come from within. You know your world is a simulation. You know your world is like a matrix, meaning that you can change it at any time. Once you realize this, once you realize the truth, and once you realize the power that you really possess and you really have, once you become awakened to this power, that's when you start manifesting in God mode. That's when your subconscious mind has to obey you. It has to obey anything you say. That's when you say something one time and it has to come to you. Because you actually transitioned to that new identity, that successful version of you. You burn the old. You have to understand your identity. Your old identity doesn't come with you. You have to burn it. Okay? Your old identity, your current identity, it doesn't merge with your successful version of you identity. It doesn't merge. You burn it. You do away with it. Your life doesn't have room for two identities. One's operating 100%, one at a time. They don't merge. You burn your old identity and you put your whole truth into your new identity. That's how this stuff works. This is why this stuff takes sometimes a little time. Okay? There's an incubation period. Neville Goddard talked about this before we move on to part 2 here. Neville Goddard said, I love what Neville Goddard said. Neville Goddard said, he's never seen in his whole career, never seen the law of assumption fail. And he's saying this in his whole career. You got to listen to this. In his whole career, also Neville Goddard trained with Abdullah. So this would actually carry Abdullah into it, where Neville Goddard is saying, even when I worked with Abdullah, I've never seen law of assumption fail. I've never seen it fail. But listen to this. The only way it fails is if you quit and you give up. But if you hang in there, you don't give power to your 3D world, you be still and know that I am God. Stillness has power. You have to understand this. When you're still, what this means is you're ignoring all the noise around you. And you're still because you know the truth inside you. And the truth inside you is that you're more powerful than you think you are. The truth inside you is heaven is within you. God is within you. You're endowed with God's power. That's the truth. Bottom line, this is your core identity. This is your core self. You have the power to live life on your terms. You have the power to live authentically. You have the power to live unapologetically on your terms. You have the power to live any life that you want. You have the power to call the unseen into the seen. You have the power to do all this. And even Jesus said in the New Testament, and you can do even more. Now, this clip was just the beginning. This was actually part 1 of a masterclass I did. And if you want to go deeper and jump into part 2, I will link the masterclass here, and the masterclass will be linked in the description. So check that out. And of course, before we go, if you want to be part of the tribe, the link is in the description. If you want to work with me personally, the link is in the description as well. And remember, I love you guys. Peace out. Blessings to you. And I will see you in the next video.